CentOS box, and let's come back to our home directory. And the first thing that we want to do is let's just first create a directory. So the command is mkdir, and afterwards the name of the directory, let's call this directory as sandbox. And if I do an ls over here, we see that this sandbox directory indeed has been created. Now let's try to copy this sandbox directory to a different location or with a different name. Maybe put this directory in the desktop folder so that it gets displayed over here. So I type in, since it's empty at the moment, so it should have no difficulty in performing the copy operation. I type in copy, then sandbox, and then the destination path, which is desktop. So it is saying that since it's a directory, so it is not going to copy it. So now I'm going to use the recursive switch, which is -r to get the file, to get the directory copied from one location to another. Now you see that the command has been executed successfully, and now we can see that the sandbox folder has appeared onto the desktop of user Ahmed. Now let's enter into this sandbox folder, and let's try to create a file by using touch function. Touch, and let's just call it first file or first file. Now the file has been created. We can see that it is there, although we have not put anything in it. So its size is 0. Now if I come back over here, and if I try to remove directory by issuing the command rmdir sandbox, it should give us the error and the error would be that directory is not empty. But I can remove this directory by issuing the command rm, then using the switch recursively, small r, and forcefully, so that whether it is empty or not, or whether there are certain links or certain other files in it, maybe empty files or empty folders, it should not just ask me and give me warnings or ask for my interactive commands to get removed. It should forcefully remove it. I know that what I'm doing, so just do it. So I type in rm space -rf, and then the name of the directory, which is sandbox. Now if I press enter, we see that the command has been executed, and if we see the contents of this directory, we see that sandbox folder is gone. Now let's try to use the move command. Let's see what we have got in test. So let's try to edit test file, and it says that this is a test file. Okay, so test file is there. We can copy it by naming it differently. For example, I can name it test1, and if we now see the contents, we see that both the files test and test1 are there. But if I try to, let's say, move test file with a different name, say best, then we will see that the file test is no longer there, rather it is replaced with the name best. So I do that and I press ls, and we see that test file has gone, and now it is renamed or replaced by the name best. Its contents will be the same, but it's just that the name has been changed from test to a different name that we have selected. So let's get out of here. And also for removing the files or directories, the command is the same. We can use the rm command, and if we want to recursively remove the folder, we can use the -r flag with it. Now let's do one thing which is known as globbing, or using the wildcards. So let's try to create some files. Let's do touch, and let's call this file as 1.doc. Then let's also create another file 2.doc and 3.doc. And another file, let's just call this one 1.txt. So this is a different file with a different extension. It's encoded in a different way, and likewise 2.txt. Now let's see the contents of this directory. So we have created these files, 3 by the extension of doc and 2 by the extension of txt. So if I try to remove all the files in this folder which have got an extension of doc, what I can do is that I can either type the name of the files, like I can type in 1.doc, then 2.doc, and then 3.doc. But if I've got hundreds or thousands of files of the same extension, you would immediately come to know that's not the best solution. So the way to do that is using wildcards, or globbing as we call it. I can use static instead of name, and then I can type in the type of the file, in this case doc. Now if I press enter, all the files in this very folder with the extension of doc will get removed. So if I press or type ls, we see that all the doc files have gone. Now let me show you one more interesting thing. Let's just touch some more files. So let's say touch book and touch bulk maybe, and also touch another file. Let's just call it brook. Now let's do an ls, and this time instead of simply doing ls, let's just do it in this way: b, and then I put in 2 question marks and then k. Now what this command will do is that these question marks, they are kind of wildcards. So any file with starting with b has got 4 characters ending with k, and in between these 2 characters there could be any other character. I'm not specifying which one, but in our example, this book and bulk, they match these wildcards. So these 2 files, book and bulk, they should be shown as a result of this ls command. So let's press enter, and indeed we see that book and bulk have been shown as a result of this ls command. There is one last command that I wanted to show you, and in fact I must say that it's kind of dangerous one. It's like rm, then static, and if you press enter over here, it would delete everything. And in fact, I should say something like rm minus rf and then static. Now this would mean that delete every file and every directory in this very folder where I am at the moment, which is in my home folder, and do not ask for anything, just remove it. So be careful with this command, that until unless you are 200% sure that what you are trying to delete in that very particular directory, you should not execute this command.